scouting, and Nara has seen exactly what July has in his base, so that's going to give Nara an advantage. He has the tactical advantage in terms of information. July not able to get at Nara's soft underbelly. Nara does not have a lot of units. He only has cannons, very, very strategically placed cannons, and Nara doing the best from this map. You have to feel a little bit sorry for July. You have to feel the fact that he should have gotten a little bit of an advantage. He should have won the game by now after Nara failed his rush, because Nara invested everything in that rush. But because of the structure of the map, Nara has been able to rush, and still he is still alive in this game, even though you feel that July should have an advantage. Nara with the robotics facility, so he's going to be producing reavers from that once he gets his robotic support bay up, and that's going to make it very, very hard for July to break this defense of the reavers against the mineral line. The only way that July can do anything now is if he drops in. Nara does have that robotic support facility going up, and he's getting 3 gas, so he's getting more gas than July. Nara is getting 3 gas, July is only getting 1. July continuing to build Hydralisk and building that spire, so July might be going for a mixed attack here with the air as well as Hydralisk. I suppose he's hoping that he can take out Nara's defensive cannons with the Hydralisk, and July now planting a second expansion of his own, realizing that Nara is building a base there. July's and Nara trying to take out one of July's overlords. July bring the Hydralisk back to defend it, and he successfully defends it. So July realizes that he needs the 3rd base as well, because Nara has got 3 bases. You can't, as a Zerg player, have less bases than a Protoss and still hope to win. Nara now has made 2 robotics facilities, so it looks like he's going for a crosshair reaver strategy, and I do feel that July is going to be very vulnerable to that once Nara gets that disruption web up. And Nara continuing to build more cannons to defend that base, and July is going to have a very hard time taking that base out. I have to say that the longer this game goes on, the more it's swinging in Nara's favor. The little advantage that July had at the beginning of the game from stopping Nara's rush has all but evaporated. July now building an evolution chamber. I'm not sure if that's in order to be able to build spore colonies to combat Nara's Corsairs and shuttles, or if the purpose of that is to tech to hive and get defilers and get higher tech and get ultralisks. But Nara seems to have air supremacy with those Corsairs. July does have a couple of Scourges flying around, but they get taken out. Nara has got that robotics facility up. He should be producing reavers very soon. July now going up the north passage with a large group of Hydralisks. July is going up the north passage, but he's not going to be able to get into Nara's base because of the mineral line blocking in there. He isn't sending any drones up. I think Nara probably has a cannon to defend that as well, because he has not left anything to chance here thus far. July continuing to make more and more Hydralisks. July is now rushing towards Nara's base towards the north. I'm not sure what the purpose of those Hydralisks are. He might try and take that cannon out, but I think that cannon might just be out of range of those Hydralisks, so I'm not sure exactly. And even if he does take that cannon out, Nara can just build another one behind the pylon, and that will end July's attack. So, and Nara does have reavers. He's just waiting for that shuttle to pop out so that he can micro those reavers effectively and probably attack July's main. But he does need to have disruption web to combat all those Hydralisks if he wants to go for a Corsair reaver strategy. Nara does have 3 cannons behind that, so July has lined up his Hydralisks on both sides of Nara's base. I'm not sure what exactly July is planning here, and Nara now has built 4 gateways. So Nara now finally starting to produce an army. He's filled 4 gateways. He realizes he does need to have some ground troops as well. He can't just rely on those mineral lines to protect himself forever. And July now has got speeded up overlords, so he is going for that drop. He is finally going for that drop. He's got speeded up overlords that he's sending towards the north, where his Hydralisk is playing. I'm not sure if Nara has scouted that, and I'm not sure if he's anticipating that drop, because if he does, he can put a quick end to it. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Nara can put a quick end to that drop by July by using those Corsairs. But I don't think he's anticipated that, and July is going to do a 2-pronged dual drop, both from the south and from the north into Nara's main, and Nara is going to have a hard time defending both sides, even if his Corsairs intercept. And you can see from July's first-person point of view that this drop is so far going on uncontested, and July is now going into Nara's main. July is now going to drop inside Nara's main. Nara has a few cannons, but July is just going to be able to float past them and drop right on top of his main. Nara does have his Templar Archives up as well. Nara moving those probes out in anticipation of that drop by July, and Nara looks to be in trouble here. This one move by July might very well turn the tables and turn this game completely in July's favor. July going for a double drop. He's also dropping Nara's expansion in the middle lane. I think that's a mistake, because Nara does have Corsairs and cannons up there, and he does have his reavers, and Nara moving those reavers towards the main, but he's bringing them back out now to take out July's Hydralisk. July meanwhile has dropped Nara's main, and Nara is losing a lot of his tech. He's going to lose his robotic support, but he's lost that nexus in his main, so Nara now reduced back to 2 nexuses, and that's even the game up. But Nara's reavers have come out. Nara got 2 reavers, and July has lost a lot of Hydralisks already. He's just going to try and take that robotic support bay down. So July did good damage from that drop, but I think he should have saved the drop from his overlords on those reavers for a little while longer. And Nara has got Zealots up as well, so he's going to be able to defend that attack. But July has done good damage to Nara's economy. Hopefully he has given himself the advantage that he needs to come back in this game. July microing those overlords, excellently spreading them out from the Corsairs, but it's not going to be enough. They're still all going to get destroyed by the cannons and by Nara's Corsairs. So July has invested a significant portion of his resources in that drop, and while he has killed that Nexus, he hasn't really taken out Nara that far behind. Nara is still up to him economically, and Nara has got those Reavers, but July is going to keep the pressure on. He's going to go for another drop. He's bringing a second evolution chamber to get more upgrades for his units, and July again dropping behind Nalra's mineral line in his natural expansion at the mid lane. And July now realizes that he needs to take that middle base just outside his main. He needs to take that out, and the only way I think he can do that is if he does a dual attack from both the front and the back. And it looks like he's setting up for that, but he's dropping those Hydralisks into that middle lane. And actually no, it doesn't look like he's going for that. He's just gonna he's loading up more Hydralisks in that, so he does look like he's going for a drop. But Nalra can end that drop very effectively if he can scout with his Corsairs, but those Hydralisks that are already there are going to prevent him, and July's reinforced that. He's dropping more and more Hydralisks in that, so he has cut off the path from Nalra's middle expansion at the top to the middle expansion outside his own main, and therefore, and looks like now July is going for Nalra's expansion, and that's a bit silly. He's going for Nalra's expansion at the north in the middle lane, and that's very silly because Nalra's got loads of Reavers there. I guess July doesn't know that, but Nalra has at least 3 Reavers there, and that's going to be he's got 5 Reavers there, and that's going to be very, very difficult for July to actually stop that. Nalra has 5 Reavers, so these Hydralisks are going to get wasted. And July, okay, that looks like that was actually a fake, but Nalra still has Reavers here. July needs a two-pronged attack. He's not going to be able to take those Reavers down just by pushing down with those Hydralisks from the north. And actually July is dropping that base from the south as well, so that's a very, very effective drop from July. Those Reavers have been taken out, and July still has a bunch of Hydralisks. Nalra comes in with his Crosshairs, but it's too late. July has made the drop. If those Crosshairs had been there to defend, they might have been able to stop that drop from the south, but July has taken this base out, and he's fighting his way back into this game, pushing Nalra back. And Nalra now is in a little bit of trouble because he's reduced to a single Nexus since his main Nexus got taken out shortly a little while ago. He is probably building a second Nexus in his main, and he was also slowed down in tech. But Nalra now rushing down the middle with those Zealots to try and kill July's Hydralisks, and he does have a lot of Zealots there, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough against a large group of Hydralisks like that. July, though, doesn't have a lot of maneuverability. July has got that base up, but July is still limited to the 2 gas just as well as Nalra. And this game is balanced absolutely on a knife edge. Anyone could win this game. It's impossible to predict. July's hype going up. Nalra now building a second expansion at the top, to the top right of his base in the north, because he's run out of minerals in his main in the middle. But you do have to give a little bit of advantage to Nalra because those Reavers are going to allow him to defend his bases very, very well. And July really had to put out all the stops to take out that expansion.